All right. I guess this Helldivers thing has kind of opened up a can of worms. There's all kinds of conversations going on right now, and some of them are quite silly, to be very honest. Like, I just saw this post here with somebody who's starting a petition for Sony or PlayStation not to port more games to PC. My dude, it's already too late. Stop. It doesn't affect you if more people play the game. I think you've tied your identity to a box way too hard, and you don't necessarily know what in the world you're talking about anymore. What you need to basically pay attention to is you need to enjoy games. That's basically how it is. But we cannot just let it go or simply ignore the fact that somewhere, somehow, a group of people banded together on the PC platform and pretty much strong armed Sony to change its own policy on the, little PlayStation Plus requirement for Helldivers 2, which was basically deactivated or actually, in a sense, waived temporarily at launch so that the game server issues would be resolved. But then it seemed like Sony wanted to go ahead and implement this. But that would have already, in a sense, affected a lot of people who do not have PlayStation Plus in their own regions. So at the end of the day, what happened was people decided they were going to protest refunds and review bombs, which I'm not a fan of review bombing, to be very honest. The refunds, yes, I'm sure that probably sent the message more than anything else. Once Steam started opening the door for refunds, I think that money at the pocket started to hurt. And it seems like that basically sent the message to PlayStation. And I think Steam, being more pro-consumer, not needing anybody to basically strong arm them, decided we're going to stand with the consumer. You see, here is the problem. The fact that it took review bombing and the fact that it took refunds for PlayStation to waive this particular requirement, since people had already bought the game and many people don't have PlayStation, is your evidence that PlayStation is an anti-consumer platform. Does that make sense? That is all you need. The fact that it took this measure of action from the consumers for them to do it meant that the consumers were not the primary concern. It meant that the bottom line was the primary concern. If you're still playing on PlayStation and you think that somewhere, somehow, this corporation has your best interest at heart, I have a bridge that I have a second bridge in Philly that I want to sell you. Let me tell you why the PC platform has an edge. It's not because it's some holy grail. It's simply because of the high decentralization of a lot of what it takes to be on the PC platform. It's just that simple. I'll explain it to you from the hardware side. When you buy your console, you're buying one hardware that has basically been sourced in its component forms by one manufacturer, and that manufacturer gives it to you. You follow all the rules of that hardware, and you also follow all the rules of that hardware software. For PC, it's decentralized. You have three major manufacturers. On the CPU side, you have two of them that are more commercial. There are more. On the GPU side, you have three now that are commercial for the retail buyer: Intel, Nvidia, AMD. With these three fighting each other, you have options in your hardware, and then all the periphery that comes with it also has opened the door for other AIB manufacturers who make motherboards, GPUs, and other things. So now there are way many options to build your hardware. And on the operating system side, there are options as well, because you can go with Windows, Linux, or whatever the heck it is you want to put on your computer to run whatever you want to run, depending on how much of a nerd you want to be. It is these small things that add up together that gives the PC so much power in its decentralization, both in hardware and software, over the console. This has always been the case. I've always tried to basically iterate this, but I've seen a lot of people just say things that I think are lazy. Like, well, not a lot of people know what this is. My dude, you can know what it is. Just because you don't know something doesn't mean you can't know. There's a difference between not knowing and unable to know. And no such thing in today's world of somebody who has a console in their hand, who has a phone in their hand that's actually more expensive than the console, to not know. I see a lot of people saying, oh, well, a console is just so expensive. You are holding an iPhone 15. It's a $1,500 phone. Like, I mean, bro, you spent more money on your phone than you would on a better device for your gaming. So again, we can actually make some comparisons, even though it may be apples to oranges and all that. But, at the end of the day, I could throw all kinds of different things out there. But this is where I think we need to pay attention to. So with this Helldivers situation and the scenario, I think it's really unveiled a lot to a lot of people. Some people could not believe their eyes that Sony would actually fold under this pressure. They thought that because of all the abuse that they've been getting for all these years, increase in PlayStation Plus price. Yo, they asked you to give them more money for you to have the privilege to play video games with internet that you already paid for. The nerve of this company, people. I'm telling you, this has been the craziest thing I've ever seen. And most PC players have said, man, if they pull that stunt with Ghost of Tsushima, they're just going to wait till it goes to like good old games where it's DRM free. Because yes, there are DRM free PlayStation games that are available out there. And if they don't want to bring them, then we're not going to buy them. Or most people are not going to buy them. Some people are going to buy them, but most people are not going to buy them. So PlayStation has basically said, we're learning the needs of the PC community. You see, on PlayStation, for the most part, they know they got you locked in. That is the exact issue that you already have as a PlayStation player. That is exactly the uphill climb and the uphill battle that you have. I mean, I can show you this stuff. You can see it for yourself that, there are already DRM free games. PlayStation DRM free games that are already available on PC. If this does not tell you that, man, the PC community is basically holding, the PlayStation community, is basically holding an L, and PC is constantly on the W streak. There's nothing else I can say. I've not been showing this stuff for a long time, people. I've been telling y'all. They put the God of War 2018 on here as well. And Ragnarok, I'm sure, is more than likely going to come as well, too. I mean, there's just no reason for them to basically abandon this juicy, very huge market of gamers that don't even want to buy Steam games. Many of you think it's just because of Steam or all that. No. There are people who don't even buy Steam games. So the more reason you can expect a huge number of people waiting. I also saw something. This was on, there's a YouTuber that basically does what, he calls salt content. This is Alex is obsessed. What's his name? It's it's Alex. He put a post here just recently. Let me see if I can find him. He put a post up here just recently talking about people. This guy is very funny. He made this. He actually called out this one argument that people would throw out there. They'll say, how did he even put the argument? He said something like, people will go ahead and say something like, well, if PlayStation had its own launcher, this wouldn't be a problem. Something about PlayStation having its own launcher. Man, people don't even buy Steam games. And then he made the argument and said Epic Games Store, which many people, they ignore a game if it's an Epic Games Store and then wait till it comes to Steam. So there are all kinds of different parties in this whole conversation. So the idea here is, ladies and gentlemen, if you're playing on PC, if you're playing on console, and you've not considered coming to PC, my goal is to show you the advantages of the PC platform. Now, it may not be appealing to you. I get it. But at least know about it. Because I'm sure that as you continue to see and the knowledge continues to mount, there's just no way I think you will consider the next gen of PlayStation consoles. It's going to be hard. After knowing all this and watching all these unfold, yeah, you're the next PC player. Thanks for watching. Peace out.